morning and welcome to Rising. We've got another great show for you today. We are still homeless, unfortunately. They can take our studio, they can take our setup, but they can't take our desire to comment on the news, I guess. So
and the lighting.
Right, exactly.
They cannot take the lighting. I would like whoever made these lights, I'd like them just to follow me around life. People are like, oh, you look so different on TV than you do in real life. I'm like, yeah, I would love to just walk around with great lighting. Everyone deserves great lighting in life.
I think we're making it work. So let's get to our top news story. Take it away, Naomi.
Former President Trump held a very strange rally, even for his standards. Trump was in suburban Philadelphia last night, where he rambled about Hannibal Lecter and told the crowd to vote on January 5th. The rally was then derailed by multiple medical interruptions from members in the crowd. And so Trump decided it'd be best to end the rally with 30 minutes of his campaign playlist while he stood on stage and swayed. Take a look.
Well, sir, do you want to play your song and then greet a few people, or do you want to? Well, you had said you wanted to close with a specific song.
Sì, lo so che non c'è luce in una stanza quando manca il sole. Se non ci sei tu con me, su le finestre mostra a tutti il mio cuore che è acceso. Chiudi dentro me.
I actually don't know what that song is, but I think it's beautiful. Conservative influencer Greg Price reacted to Kamala headquarters mocking of Trump's rally, writing, quote, Kamala HQ is now mocking President Trump because he stopped his town hall when two people in the crowd had medical emergencies and listened to music with his supporters for the last 30 minutes. A new low for a truly pathetic campaign.
Still others online insist Trump is not cognitively well. Activist Amy Siskin wrote, Trump abruptly ended his town hall at Greater Philadelphia Expo Center just now after taking just 5 questions. He stood on the stage looking confused and lost. This man is not cognitively well. But Trump continues to insist it's not Kamala who's not cognitively well. Trump wrote, quote, I believe it is very important that Kamala Harris pass a test on cognitive stamina and agility. Her actions have led many to believe that there could be something very wrong with her.
In other Harris news, the VP has unveiled new proposals targeting black men. Her proposals include giving $1 million in forgivable loans of up to $20,000 to black entrepreneurs, legalizing recreational marijuana, and also protecting cryptocurrency assets. President Obama was quick to throw his support behind her plan, writing on X, quote, Kamala Harris has a plan that will lift up black men and their families. She's laid out some ways to give black men the tools to build wealth, achieve financial freedom, and lower costs. Meanwhile, in a surprising move, Harris has agreed to a live-to-tape, sit-down interview with Fox News anchor Bret Baier that will air tomorrow. Very interesting.
It's time to say goodbye. That's the song, Robby. So, it's a beautiful
maybe
song.
It's time to say hello. I don't know. Look, what was the problem with the rally? He didn't look cognitively impaired. This is lunacy to me. There was a medical emergency that people had in the crowd, so they played some music and ended it early. That's a fine and responsible thing to do. Furthermore, the cognitive decline argument coming from Democratic and progressive activists is in such bad faith, given that the person it most obviously applies to is Joe Biden, the sitting president, who is invisible right now because we can't let the public see the state he's in all likelihood. Totally, we worry, unable to make decisions at a time where the nation is in crisis, the world is in crisis, foreign policy is going all out of whack. We could have World War III in the Middle East. What is Biden doing to prevent it? I have no idea. Every time we see him, we are deeply concerned that he can't do the job. I am deeply concerned, and I'm not the only one, that he can't be president right now. And yet it's Donald Trump who's cognitively impaired. Now, to be fair, I don't think the cognitive arguments against Kamala Harris are very compelling. I disagree with Kamala Harris. I don't agree with or even really understand what her policies are, but it's not a cognitive impairment issue. To be clear, I don't think that argument is very fair against her, but it's not fair against him either.
KamalaHarris.com. Go check out her policies. She has 250 pages worth of economic policies.
Okay, I'll read through a website.
That's important. You want to know. Listen to her interviews. She did a town hall for Univision. She's done several interviews this week. She has one coming up with Brett Baier. You're arguing over Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. I think the Democratic Party fully argued that. That was why he stepped aside. Yeah. And he's given multiple press conferences this week. He actually
when they had no choice but to admit it.
He also gave multiple press conferences this week, especially in light of the hurricanes that hit the East Coast and southern East Coast. And on top of it, he canceled a foreign policy trip for those hurricanes to deal with like real people's problems in terms of countering FEMA disinformation. You can watch him if you want. It's out there. I know you don't want to. I know Republicans and conservatives love to say he's not doing anything. It's also what is convenient to them. Just like Donald Trump can say whatever he wants, and his folks, his most rabid supporters will say, yeah, Kamala Harris has a cognitive issue. It's not Donald Trump who's now wearing a new shade of, I don't know what that paste was on his face. It's, you know, how could any sane person go out running for president and put a new shade of orange paste on his face? It's dripping down his face. Come on, come on.
Who cares?
Well, I care. I mean, yesterday he decided.
We care about what his makeup situation is.
Well, I think there's a lot of indications that he is not cognitively well. Maybe it wasn't the music. I agree with you there. I think that there's a lot of stuff that happens. You know, that when you pull the shot out. There's more context, just as the GOP likes to highlight photos of, you know, Joe Biden waving, and turns out there's somebody on the other side of the photo if you zoom out. I get it. That we all do it. It's media. Like, we're always looking for something. But Donald Trump threatened to have the military go after his political opponents on the left. That's very scary. That's the next level of authoritarian handbook. I don't know what comes after that. I mean, he's not in office. Well, I do know what comes after that. He's going to contest the election. I mean, he's going to tell his voters to vote on January 5th, which is very bizarre. I don't know what that means. I hope they listen. I hope.
Whoa! That making that observation, which you just said on on Twitter, can get. Speaking of authoritarianism, will get you a visit from the FBI. It will get you prosecuted.
I was kidding.
But people are even
I hope
jokes.
They listen to Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, I get that you were kidding. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's fine to tell jokes. I think that the FBI doesn't. The Biden DOJ doesn't.
So they're going to go to Donald Trump for spreading a falsehood about.
Well, no, but you're talking about authoritarianism.
Day?
I think it's authoritarianism to shut down satire and free speech on social media, something every agency of the federal government attempted under the incumbent administration. But there's a lot of authoritarianism to go around.
Okay, that's different. We're talking about a presidential candidate wanting a real coup, because last time his people that staged the Capitol got arrested, some died actually, as well as the authorities that were trying to prevent.
There was a riot. There was a spontaneous riot at the Capitol. It was very bad. I was there. I covered it. I was reported on it. I watched it happen. It was very bad. The people who broke some windows and trespassed and roughed up cops all got systematically arrested, thrown in prison, prosecuted,
100%.
Which is fine. It was not a coup. There was no danger of the government being overthrown in this kind of action. It was a riot at a public building that was very bad and has been prosecuted as it should be. And we're not going to have that happen again, because there will be additional security measures. I've seen them. They're very irritating. It's harder to get around the Capitol.
But he's asking for the military to intervene and go after his political opponents. He's asking for the military
to intervene in the problems he sees in America. Now, you can disagree with that.
What are the problems? He invents a new problem every day. I mean, now it's the left that's the biggest threat to democracy.
I mean, thinking the problems are invented, I don't think is a very convincing line. The problems of crime and disorder in our cities, that's something J.D. Vance is talking about a little bit more specifically than Donald Trump, I think in a more helpful way, that media is trying to ignore and pretend don't exist. That's not helpful. Now, I don't want authoritarian solutions to these problems either. I want these problems properly characterized, because sometimes they are exaggerated, but it's just not helpful, and people tune out when you say, oh, there's nothing wrong, nothing bad is happening.
But Robby, no one's saying nothing's bad. I'm saying he's inventing
Martha Raddatz was saying
But I just want to ask you, do you think it was okay that Donald Trump said he would call for the military and National Guard to go after his political enemies? Aren't you afraid of that?
I think it was bad to say that. I don't think they're actually going to do that. I think it's an empty threat. But I'm not a. This is the inequality of the show, and then I'm not actually a. You are a Kamala Harris supporter. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. So like I don't have to defend the things he says that I think are dumb because I'm not a supporter of his. I'm not going to vote for him. I think he should not do those things. I also think it's empty rhetoric with zero chance of actually taking place. But
I mean, I wish that were the case. That most of his rhetoric, well, the stuff that's not going to take place are basically his promises to his voters. What does take place is the fear of democracy being dismantled, which all indications have shown that.
Before we move on, let's very quickly touch on the Kamala Harris promise to black men. Some of that stuff I actually like. I support decriminalizing marijuana and all other drugs. I support, again, we've talked about this previously on the show, crypto, making it more available, having crypto regulation that is supportive of this fledgling industry that's not going to cripple it. I think that's great. I don't think financial handouts to specifically black male-owned businesses is good or, in fact, even constitutional. I think it, or legal. It violates
they didn't say specifically
disparate racial stuff. But if you want to do outreach to these communities and say, here are things or loans or programs or whatever that's available that maybe you didn't know about, but they're offered to everyone, but they're just doing outreach, I guess that's fine.
I think this was a broader approach, and the media, and part of it is, Barack Obama has been speaking specifically to black men, has been taking it as something that is geared towards black men. I think it actually affects a lot of men that they're trying to win over, not just black men, Latinos, white men. I think this is a pretty smart move, even though I'm very much anti-crypto. But I feel bad for people who have invested in crypto and might lose their money if there's another bust, and it's to protect assets. So I think it was a very smart approach to this issue.
We've got a lot more to get to today. Stay tuned. More Rising right after this.